The choice of Descartes must be considered carefully, for it is not beyond our power to imagine an animal thought and a soul dominated by needs and appetites in the titmouse, the rat, the dog, or the ox. Once this kinship is recognized, all of nature is mythological. All animals are fallen spirits, of which it must be believed that they can return and that they return, although by long detours, and harshly brought back by immediate necessity. Thus Ulysses, thinking only that he could see the smoke rising from his native land, wanted to die, but hunger, sleep, and love kept him in his condition of slavery, and it was therefore necessary for some pardon from the gods for Calypso to let him go. Schelling certainly spoke beautifully when he said that nature is like the Odyssey of the spirit. But the difficult thing is not to worship the spirit in all its forms. It is idolatry in the proper sense. It is only permitted to worship man. Such is the meaning of this Cartesian decree that denies all thought to animals. Auguste Comte is of the same lineage, purely Western also, but by detour, and by submission to necessity. For this tender nature and very little military has thought a lot about the thought of animals, and mainly of the good servants, such as ox and dog, with whom he wants us to make a kind of society. But, on the other hand, the necessity of hunting and clearing, and the domination of man, seems to him to be the first condition of this continuous society without which there would be no thought at all. Nothing says that such animals, if they had dominated the earth, would not have formed society also, traditions also, libraries also. Nothing says that man, reduced to an isolated and difficult life like that of the rat and the rabbit, would have more thought than them. It is therefore necessary that one species triumphs, and man finds the choice already made. To worship only humanity is a hard necessity, but it must be virally accepted. My fellow man is man. There is no salvation but man. The task is already difficult enough. When one examines the forms of history, the wars, the tortures, and the gods, one recognizes that the spirit has returned from far away by so many detours and so often trapped. It is therefore history that is the Odyssey of the spirit, and the same Schelling, having become old, finally said it, limiting his ambitions, and ending this vain mythology, daughter of the East. The Westerner is essentially atheist. In passing from the East to the West, the old God has taken more and more the human form, and the very march of Christianity, first mystical, then political, does nothing but realize its fundamental myth. It was necessary to tighten this universal love in order to give it power. It was necessary to put the rights of man beyond discussion by a kind of Roman decree. All thought is limited by necessity, or else it loses form. Thus man crushes the ant and the rat without ceremony. The difficult thing for a man is to remain good while waging this war, and our civilization offers this double aspect at each of its steps. What the Romans translated by saying that the praetor does not care about small things. And if a man was ever a praetor in his thought, it is Descartes.